some of the problems that were caused by COVID and the recovery and the spending that was necessitated. I mean, this administration and this Congress just piled on, right? Last spring, there was nearly $2 trillion in spending. This year, they've done it again and again and again, really. I mean, do you feel like there's no lessons learned there? What about here in Congress and your allies in Congress? Has there been lessons learned, and how do you think things will change?
I hope so. Somebody asked me earlier today, actually, what's the shortest term threat to the United States? And I said it's a combination. It's Russia's aggression into the Ukraine and what that means in the geopolitical world with Taiwan and China and all of those different issues. And it's inflation. Those are the two short-term things. The biggest long-term national security threat we face is our debt. And it is, and it continues to be. And we came into the beginning of COVID where we worked in a bipartisan manner, and there are bills I voted for at the beginning of the COVID pandemic that I would never vote for ever again, or I would never have voted for before, but we were in a really unique scenario. What I didn't understand, and I still cannot understand, is after 18 months, 2 years into this, why we didn't target spending to places that needed it. We just continued to spray money that we don't have with a fire hose onto the economy, and then thought that inflationary pressures wouldn't be there. And one of the other frustrating things out here, far too many people say, well, Europe or all these other countries are in the same boat. Well, they actually did the same thing except worse. I mean, to compare us to other countries and say we're handling it better because we sprayed less of our GDP into the economy without paying for it is really, really a false argument, and I think we should get serious about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we've struggled with at Americans for Prosperity is making sure that spending stays a top priority issue. Obviously, when times are good, people are paying less attention to government overspending. Do you think because of this inflation crisis, there will be a renewed focus on reining in government spending as we go forward?
Well, I can talk about it. I'll just talk about the infrastructure bill, right? If inflation stays higher than 7% year over year, you just wipe out the entire increase of what you did in the highway funding formula. 100%. You just wipe it all out. And at the same time, you can go to any community anywhere in the country right now, and you will see a construction project delayed, whether it's a school, whether it's an airport. We have a project in North Dakota that was $41 million to get built. It's for a fantastic facility. It's $57 million now. You know what they've changed? Nothing. They haven't changed a thing. And just because of inflation and construction and workforce and all of these different issues, it's gone up to $57 million. Yeah. That is the problem. That's where we're at. So listen, nobody hates Santa Claus. It's very easy to give people things and particularly do that, and both parties are guilty of this. Mm-hmm. But people are seeing the real consequences of what happens when you continue to fund things with money that you do not have and just continue to print it. And it's a problem, and unfortunately we don't have the federal, interest rates are going up. Home buying is stagnant for the first time in 15 years. We've got real structural problems in our economy, and fixing them quickly is not going to be as easy as people think. But first of all, let's just get a budget and stick to it. That'd be a pretty good idea. Get back to normal order. Continue. We're going to vote on a CR this week. I'm going to vote no on a CR. I think I voted for 1 2-week CR because North Dakota was in a flood and my farmers and ranchers couldn't afford to have FSA shut down for 2 weeks, and sometimes you just have to deal with those issues. But we have to quit governing by crisis. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty proud. My North Dakota constituents have been in on the debt since I got elected in 2018. This isn't really new to them. We have a balanced budget amendment in the state, and we always have to balance our budget, so it's something we're pretty conscious of. Plus, if you live in a place that has droughts and blizzards and commodity-based economies, you know how to spend when you have the money, and you know how to tighten your belt when you don't. So at least places like North Dakota have been aware of this and are going to continue to be aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. States have been doing this right for a long time. Some of those pressures, as you mentioned, they don't exist typically on Washington, but it's something we're going to continue to drive the ball forward on, and certainly we'll hope it's a major priority next year to do something on spending, because spending has been a major driver of the increased costs that people are facing. Are there specific things that you want to see Congress do on government spending? Are you open to ideas? How are you approaching that conversation?
I think we should absolutely have a 10-year balanced budget. I would like to see it shorter. I think a lot of conservatives would like to see it shorter. I don't think it's realistic. First of all, austerity measures are inherently not popular, and you can't govern if you're not if you're not there. But I think having a realistic baseline 10-year budget that we are committed to sticking to. Two, I think we're going to have to raise the debt ceiling. The response that fight always gets interesting, but it's true. We have to raise the debt ceiling, but we need. And there are people that even in the minority, it's easy to vote no on the debt ceiling. In the majority, it gets a lot harder. That's why when we voted no the last time, we made sure we kind of let leadership on our side know, say when we do this, and we will do it, we want reform in the process. We need it. We're not just blank checking this again and again. It's like your 19-year-old kid or your 20-year-old college kid who keeps maxing out their credit card. If you don't figure out a way to get that under control, you're not doing them any good either, because they're never going to learn how to manage money their entire life. And that's essentially what the federal government is doing right now. So we are going to have some opportunities. We just have to have the political courage to do it.